Do you know how far away we were from losing? Literally seconds. Hi, I'm Two-Siders. Welcome back to Against the Storm. We are getting closer to the next seal. Unfortunately, in this settlement, we are playing on Prestige 19 for the first time, and we also have some acid rain. This settlement took 1 hour and like 45 minutes, and I was literally shaking by the end of it. I made so many mistakes, so I'm sorry if that frustrates you, but I hope you join me for this extremely exciting video. Welcome to the Acid Coast. It's Prestige 19, fee for each discovered glade. We have to pay like 2 gold for small glades and 6 gold for dangerous and for forbidden glades, I guess. Few options for caravans. It seems like the middle Fox one is the best one because it provides the most villagers, but actually the top one provides the same amount of villagers and 1 extra resource technically. Acid rain means that buildings that we destroy you don't get a refund for the building materials you used. And I'm just laughing in myself because I made so many mistakes regarding acid rain. I kind of, at this point you have your own little habits and it's hard to shake them off. So I construct some stuff that I cannot destroy. I constructed too many herbalist camps, for instance. Of course, we are taking the fishing hut with us, and we will find a bunch of fishing ponds. And I'm gonna name this place Acid Grove appropriately. Let's begin. The positive glade event is regrowth, which is nice because we have fertile soil in the initial glade anyways. It will increase food production, and we will find a farming related cornerstone. You probably know which one. I'm not gonna spoil it though. We also have humid climate, so we need a bunch of fuel for the hearth. Resolve will drop faster. We will need to pay a bunch of wood, otherwise people will leave. Oh my god, I'm getting PTSD. And guess what? For the 3rd time in a row, we have effing Eerie Song. Oh my lord, I hate this so much. At hostility level 5, villagers will die unless we provide them with services. But we have beavers and foxes. They literally share nothing in terms of services. I didn't bring any farming buildings with me, so even though the provision is decent, I'm just gonna take the plantation because I cannot mess around with just hoping for a different farm building, even though a different farm building would have been better. We also have a choice between supplier and beanery, which is it's really hurtful because supplier would be so good at this point. We need some sort of a plank production, and it also provides us with flour and water skins for pickled goods. But the beanery, on the other hand, can create porridge, even though only foxes eat porridge right now. Just producing more food, more free food technically, right, is looking really great. But neither of these options, it's really difficult to pick between those 2 options is what I'm trying to say. We cut into the first small glade because our foxes told us that there is some clearance water there. And this is the payment, 2 gold, which really sucks at the very beginning of the game because there's no way to make gold. Yeah, I don't even construct a trade hub until the 2nd year. So now we just have to rush to construct a trade hub, and not just to construct a trade hub, but also create packs of provisions. Oh my god, so just we can do a quick trade route, right, to pay for that small amount. But if we don't pay it, then villagers will die or leave. Just in the nick of time, we will sell some berries to be able to pay for that stupid small glade. This entire game I felt like I had to catch up to something, and we're gonna cut into a dangerous glade, which is not a great idea. The reason why I haven't picked the cornerstone yet is because we got meat specialization. We don't really have wrench. Meat specialization will increase meat production for every 25 times it's produced, but there isn't even meat on this map, I'm pretty sure. And the other one is about faster trade routes. Yes, technically that would have helped us with paying that 2 gold fee, but we made it happen either way. So I'm trying to see if there's no meat on this map. I'm not really sure why I haven't really picked the cornerstone yet. We get Sahilda in the 2nd year, and that small farm looks really inviting. Turns out we got lizards, even though lizards are a very meaty race. Getting a small farm for veggies, for the pickled goods, and flour stuff is just good. Also, don't forget that the porridge is there. I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna pick up the beanery for the porridge. And guess what, guys? We have 3 out of 3 races that eat pickled goods. Pickled goods is the most overpowered food probably in the entire game. It provides the most amount of +8 resolve. The dangerous glade we cut into does have some nice large fishing ponds, but also has a blightrot cauldron, which is really sucky to see, because the only really way to stop this threat is to tear it down. And the negative effect will spawn 4 blightrot cysts, so pretty much like 100% blightrot, for every 20 food produced. So we have to stop producing food completely. But look at the top. Look at the top center here. We have 16 food. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm going to construct a second herbalist camp, even though we are in acid rain biome. I'm not going to get the materials back, but I need to gather food so freaking fast, guys, because foxes are the species that will leave the fastest if they are starving. I also have to pay this stupid fee for the crown for opening into that dangerous glade. So things are already not looking good. I'm going to pick up the beanery to maybe create some porridge really quickly, but we're not going to have enough time for that, actually. Like I said, we're going to pick up Stonewalker training instead of the meat spec. I cannot gamble on getting wrench. And I know counterfeit amber is better, but you know, I'm thinking because we are one of the forest mysteries decreases or increases fuel usage. I'm gonna pick up Mark of the Sealed Ones. We can make sure that villagers are not living by sacrificing stuff. Unfortunately, this was a mistake, because Mark of the Sealed One doesn't really help you increase fuel production, right? It just helps you decrease fuel usage when you are sacrificing, but you really don't want to be sacrificing anyways. And interestingly enough, in this settlement, the one thing we were kind of good at is villagers were not leaving in the storm. They were dying and leaving for other reasons, but they were not living in the storm. We constructed a bunch of houses, and later on we can get even some fox houses, but I'm not going to tell you just yet how. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to create this porridge. I have to stop these beavers midway through, just like spit out all that porridge. just take out all the porridge from the water and then just put it somewhere else, because we have to stop producing food for this stupid blightrot cauldron. As you can see, even with foxes, we have started working on it in the last freaking second. Pretty much like 20 seconds to spare, but you don't want to play around with that shit. And like I told you, I feel so behind. This is the year 2 storm, but I feel like it's year 1. Technically, foxes and lizards are leaving, but we can easily remedy that. We constructed a clearance gate here, so we can just boost the makeshift post, increase the resolve, slap some species on it. Even though they are not working, they have increased resolve when they are just assigned to that building. So this is a really cheaty way for you guys to increase resolve in the storm. Just boost the building that way and just add some races to it. Obsidian Runestone is actually becoming more and more inviting the higher prestige I play on, because I always lose villagers to this stupid blightrot. But, like I said, cannibalism is, I would say, a tier S perk, or tier A maybe. You gain 40 meat for every villager that dies or leaves, okay? And it's gonna give us so much meat, guys. I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna show you at the end of the video how much meat we get exactly. But it's pretty much gonna be almost 1,000 meat that we get from one cannibalism perk. Another thing that we really, really, really need to pick up, and it really hurts me to trade for 10 gold, but guess what? I'm gonna trade all of my crystallized dew. Why are you doing that, two-siders? That's really useful for fox houses. Well, the perk that I'm eyeing with in the very middle is one that will give us 3 crystallized dew per berries produced. And we have the plantation, so we can technically get an infinite amount of crystallized dew. And we're gonna pick up accumulated dew, gain 2 crystallized dew for 10 berries. I can't remember how much exactly we got by the end of the game, but we got a ridiculous amount of crystallized dew, like probably like 100 or something. All these freaking timed orders are trying to trick me into opening 5 glades. There it is again. Now, luckily, we don't need Brickyard. Normally, when I pick up that extremely difficult and risky timed order, I have frogs, and frogs need bricks for their houses. So I figured since we have insects, maybe we can get the jerky quest done and get +1 to insects, double insect production. Well, it's not that easy to make jerky after the 1.4 update, let's just say that, because you can no longer create it through the field kitchen. This is also really funny. We pick up this order where we have to have 12 foxes on the right, and every time I get closer to 12, I just lose villagers, and we get farther and farther and farther away from completing the order. We also pick up a need for coats because +1 to fabric production will actually increase it by 50%, which is crazy because you normally only make 2. We don't have a way to create coats. We also don't have resin or the pigment or whatever dye to create the coats, but it's fairly easy to do that quest. You can even just buy coats from the traders. The other issue, guys, that we have is really massive. 0 stone found. There's 0 stone in the starting glade, the small glade, or the dangerous glade. There's no way to get it. The only way we can get it is by opening up... the only way we can get bricks is by opening up caches, but that costs stone. Cannot pay anything else, so the trader is super expensive. We cannot basically build anything right now that requires stone. We have 0 bricks. We are bricked. Well, our hand is bricked is what I'm trying to say, not we are bricked up. And it's super expensive. Oil is really good. It's an efficient fuel. It doesn't burn as long as coal, I think. I checked it on the wiki on one of the episodes, if I recall correctly. But that 30 oil is basically nothing. It's 0.07 gold or amber. It's pretty much nothing. So we are starving for brick. And I'm feeling really sick. We just bought like 1 brick to finish that stamping mill, but still we need clay or stones to produce bricks through it. So this is not looking good, guys. We also don't have parts. I've constructed 2 herbalist camps because of the starvation. Luckily, none of our foxes starved, because if one of our foxes starved or left throughout the storm, it's very likely it would have been a scout on the glade event. And remember, we only had 20 seconds to spare on the stupid glade event. So if a fox leaves, then we're gonna suffer its consequence. It would have basically ended the settlement right there and then. The other mistake I did that you haven't really seen, or maybe you haven't paid attention, but I started constructing a harvest camp to gather all that reed on the left side because of fabric. And guess what, guys? If you have acid rain, you know, anything that you destroy, you don't get the production cost back, the building cost back. I had a harvest camp that were missing 10 wood. It had 5 parts on it. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna destroy it. I'm gonna get back the parts because it's not yet constructed. Well, I didn't get the parts back, so I just wasted 5 parts for no reason. But the more you know, I guess. I did it for you guys, of course. No, I made so many mistakes in this settlement. It's not even funny. I haven't played against the storm for multiple days now. I had a really long week, and we are just so starved. We need stone, we need a bunch of other stuff, and I decided to cut into that top glade, even though like the more glades you cut into is just like, man, it's like drinking salt water, okay? You are making things worse. But as long as we can do the glade events, as long as we can complete them, we are probably gonna be fine. Our hostility is already up to level 2, and remember, this means we use up 40% more fuel at this point. It's 20% per level. Now, a saving grace for this settlement is that we have foxes and lizards who have an extremely low resolve threshold. This means that in the early game, we can get a bunch of reputation points fairly easily. We got into this glade, and I'm so happy that I'm seeing Altar of Decay, because the last settlement we did, if you remember, go check out that video. The last settlement was insane, right? The earthquake mall, 20 villagers dying, Altar of Decay saving like 500 hostility or whatever, and we got a bunch of maybe we had cannibalism in that too. So this is a really similar settlement to the previous video, because we already have cannibalism. Like I told you, we're gonna get meat for villager deaths. And we also gonna get Altar of Decay. Now the issue with Altar of Decay, guys, look at this. We need 30 oil. How many do we have? 28. Because the Hearthkeeper accidentally used up the oil. I forgot to turn it off, you know, in case we get a glade event like this. So I'm spam calling the trader. I'm wasting impatience points so hard, but there's nothing I can. I need to complete this glade event that way, because I know villagers are gonna be. This is gonna be a long game. Villagers are gonna be leaving. We need to complete it on the right side. So I need to buy some complex items, and so lucky that. By the way, out of these things, you should buy scrolls instead of incense, because scrolls only cost 0.20 gold at the trader, whereas incense would be 29, so it's like 50% more expensive. And scrolls are kind of cheap. 30 scrolls is, as you can see, 6 gold. I will need to sacrifice everything for this. Now, luckily, because of a previous quest we've done, that's why we got the 15 extra oil from. We also got a bunch of wildfire essence. So they are really expensive because you cannot reproduce them. You use them for hearths and automating pumps. We're gonna start the glade event. We bought a bunch of scrolls. Obviously, when you start that glade event, one villager died. Of course, it's a fox. Like I said, we needed 12 foxes for the stupid order, and we keep losing them. I also need to buy a couple of bricks, because again, we got into that glade, 0 stone once again, no way to create stone, no way to do anything. Like I said in a previous video, because I know you are looking at the trader's perks and you see fungal guide there. It was actually the good call not to buy fungal guide in this. Not that we could have, but this was not a mushroom producing settlement at all. Those stupid 2 herbalist camps are going to remain there until the end of the game. I'm not even going to find anything to pick up with them ever again. Those 10 parts completely wasted. But I figured the only way we can win is through that Altar of Decay, which will reduce hostility for every villager leaving or dying. But if you remember, we cut into that glade, we also need to pay 6 gold for that, otherwise villagers are going to be leaving. And there just isn't anything we can sell, so I pick a bunch of orders. They're not really good. I cannot complete any of these, by the way. I also forget about the blight again, once again. I don't even remember if we're gonna... Thank God, we just about decreased the... Wait, what? I have zero idea how the... Oh yeah, never mind. So we just about managed to reduce the blight rot, but at the same time, we couldn't pay for the crown, so 2 villagers left. They were taken away by the Queen's Guard, I guess. This time around, we get Back to Nature or Deserted Caravans. We cannot justify picking up Deserted Caravans because we need the traders, okay? Even though global production 43% faster is decent, we have to pick Back to Nature. However, the issue is we have 300 food. We're going to sacrifice all of it to Back to Nature. We do have a farm, which is great, right? This is going to double farm production. But there is no food at all. I didn't want to start gathering up the insects because I was waiting for the jerky order to get +1 to insect production. But there is no food. Once again. Foxes are going to be starving really, really, really heavily and really soon. Farms are going to take this drizzle season and the clearance season to start making stuff. So we have to... There's no other choice, guys. I don't want to pay for another trader visit. I should have bought some food from the trader just now. But we're just going to have to create a trapper camp and start collecting those stupid insects. Foxes are starving. And the fire is going out. And we are doing a glade event. But guess what saved us? I didn't realize, I forgot about it even now. If you look at the top, we have 70 food. And that's because villagers left. And that gave us a bunch of meat from cannibalism, okay? So cannibalism saved all of our foxes from starving and leaving. But once again, we are down to 7 foxes. And we are using this stupid small crude workstation to construct most of our stuff. There's still no stone on the settlement, so we cannot create bricks. We are sending out expeditions haphazardly. I completely forgot about that. I just hate sending out expeditions all the time. They take too long. They take too much food. And to be honest with you, after this, after like the next like 10 minutes, I completely forgot about it and never used it again. It's my fault. But we didn't really need like specific... We didn't really need like too many buildings. We were just behind on everything, man. And also, luckily, the Altar of Decay is retroactive. So as you can see in the top, we only have 0 hostility. Level of 0. Because a bunch of villagers died and it just reduced our hostility by a bunch. We get the Clothier. I'm not really sure. I think it was from an expedition. Or maybe not. No, it was something we picked. Got something else from the expeditions. I'm not gonna tell you what yet. Oh no, we got the stamping mill from the expedition and we got the Clothier. And I figured the, Clothier, we have an order for the beavers to wear it, to wear clothes, and then we can get another reputation point. I'm not really chuffed about these picks. I'm not really chuffed about these picks either. Luckily, we bought, I didn't tell you at the very beginning of the video, but I brought a bunch of Cornerstone reroll charges. Okay. Now, obviously, we are kind of a trading settlement, especially with beavers who provide us with extra trade routes. But this is so good. Oh my god, clay per minute. Exactly what we needed. We found 0 clay on this map. We have 0 stone. Exactly what we needed to just slowly but surely do a bunch of bricks. And guess what, guys? I'm going to pick up the timed order. And I didn't realize this. I'd never made this mistake ever before. I didn't realize this was a timed order. So I'm sorry we're going to lose that one. For some reason, I didn't. I had so many things going on in my head. I made so many mistakes that I just kept on tilting. Maybe tilting isn't the right word. Just like, I guess it's tilting. It's snowballing into multiple mistakes. But it is really difficult. The game is so difficult at this point, Prestige 19, that it is what it is. If nothing else, I don't want to spoil the very ending of the video, so just like the previous video with the earthquake, you never give up, right? You never give up. It would be really nice to get 12 foxes to get the druid hut so we can create some oil from, well, I don't even know from what. Well, technically the meat that we get from cannibalism. We butchered all of those villagers. It's so crazy. And luckily our berry production is insane. Remember, we got the double production to all farms. Back to nature cornerstone. So at least, if nothing else, we can create provisions and sell a bunch of berries through that farm. The other thing we are really missing is more fertile soil. I cut into so many glades already, and the only fertile soil we have is the one we started with, which sucks. We also cannot start creating pickled goods. We have neither the food nor the container part done. Basically, completing any order at this point is so paramount because I wasted a bunch of parts, if you remember. I wasted like 10 parts, so we're gonna get a bunch of parts. Supplier again, or cooperage. Like, obviously supplier is better. We don't have a plank production building except the one we started with. And we kind of need flour, but the reason why we really needed the supplier is because of barrels that can be used to create the pickled goods that all 3 of our races eat. And guess what? We have technically an infinite amount of crystallized dew that we get from producing berries, so we technically can create infinite amounts of barrels. So good, right? The pack of luxury goods is also decent, but we're not gonna make use of that just yet. It's just the barrels. The barrels are so important. And if we get a building that can create trade goods, we could have also created a bunch of trade goods. I'm just gonna, pick up storm duration reduced from Sother. This was kind of a mistake. It's not that great. But I was calculating in my head that it's either the 15% storm duration reduced or 25% longer drizzle season. And I kind of wish this was written somewhere. I checked the, the top UI, but I think Storm is like twice as long as like Drizzle or Clearance Season, but to be honest, I have zero idea. I was looking for the additional facts, but I couldn't even find the one that said, you know, storms are twice as long. And guess what? The other building we pick up is, I haven't clicked on it. I'm not clicking on it right now, but Clothier, which, you know, can create those cloth items faster. But that's not the reason I picked it up. I can't remember what else it's gonna create, but we picked Clothier up because of the water skins or something like that previously. Sending out expeditions with more food is just so lame because it increases the chances of finding extra loot, but it increases the time from 3 minutes to like 5.5 minutes, which is insane. It's too long. It takes too long. I wish it was changed. We had a bunch of discussions, guys, right, on Reddit about this, and it seemed like a lot of you guys agreed with me that it just really sucks, and almost nobody increases the expedition, resources, because it's just gonna increase the time, and that sucks. Yeah, I picked up Clothier for the water skins, I think, previously, before we picked up the barrels, so it was kind of a waste to pick it up, but we didn't know, right? So it is what it is. We didn't know that we would get a much better way to create containers for those pickled goods, so it is what it is. That's the other issue with the Strider port. It's just completely random. I don't even know. You know when you have to select like which type of building you want? Like half of the time I don't even know if it's production or food production or whatever. Some buildings are like both, so it's hard to tell if it's a food production building or like a whatever production building. The other lucky thing that happened with us in this settlement, to be fair, is we found all three colors of geysers. I don't think this ever happened to me in this biome before. We didn't get any duplicates. We found all three colors. And yes, it's clear at this point that it would have been better to pick up counterfeit amber cornerstone instead of whatever we got, you know, the sacrifice. You can sacrifice more stuff at the hearth one. You might say that, well, if you get tempo, I'm gonna spoil you. We will get tempo, but temple is not gonna be useful basically at all. Temple can provide for the beavers and the foxes a service, but creating incense and scrolls is out of the question in this settlement. We just don't really get anything like that. Well, maybe incense, but not really scrolls as far as I can remember. And reducing hostility is pointless with the temple, because we already got a bunch of reduced hostility by sacrificing villagers at that altar. I really hate these cornerstones. Dual courage system, you just get 2 permanent holders basically, but those 2 riddle robot holders don't even get the speed benefits from the villager holder perks. Generous rations, I never picked it up before. We are struggling for food, so we're just gonna pick up alarm bells, which will increase double production chances for every like whatever percent of corruption. What is it? So every 110 corruption, we get a 5% double yield chance. I don't even remember at this prestige level what 110 corruption is, to be honest, but it's a really good cornerstone. You're gonna get a bunch of corruption anyways, and you can get like 50% double yields with that. It's so good. Technically, at the Blight post, I should have managed it better to leave a couple of Blight Rot cysts on the buildings. Not just because of alarm bells, but also because we have foxes, and foxes get extra resolve for working in buildings that have cysts, but it's just something I don't want to mess around with. I don't want to leave Blight Rot cysts and then die or get villagers killed the next year because of that mistake. Strider Port brought the grill, and now we have a grill friend. Grill is really bad, okay? Yes, both lizards and foxes eat skewers, but we have no way to create skewers. We have neither the vegetables nor the meat to create it, so it really sucks at this point. Something that would have been insane as a cornerstone in this settlement, we're not gonna get it, I'm sorry, is Zorg's secret ingredient. We would have gotten a bunch of free skewers for creating hundreds of pickled goods, right? That would have been actually one of probably the most insane epic cornerstone that we could have gotten. Technically, we got the, you know, the clay delivery line, but it's such a joke. Sorry for kicking the mic. It's such a joke that we don't have any clay. We haven't found any clay on this map. This never happened to me before. This is probably the first Against the Storm game that I had where we didn't find stone. We couldn't create bricks until like the very end. Or we didn't find any whatever brick materials, okay? We did pick up the brick or clay delivery line, which was so important to pick up. I'm not even mad about the re-rolling and picking that one instead of the other perks. And we need to get started on this mine ASAP because we are running out of fuel all the time, okay? Our woodcutting is horrible. Yes, we have beavers, which help us with their 10% double woodcut chance, but it's just not enough. And I also don't want to create another woodcutter camp because if we destroy it, we don't get the parts back. We don't have enough parts. I had to actually complete orders to get parts, even just for the mine itself. Now, from Sahilda, we haven't found any extra fertile soil, but I'm going to pick up small farm anyways. We kind of really need it. And because we need fertile soil, I'm just going to cut into this forbidden glade on the right. We really need more resources, otherwise we cannot win. Look at our impatience at the very bottom. It's like 60-70% filled up. We are not looking good, guys. We are in year 6. Normally I would be finishing settlements at this point, and we're not even close to like 1/3 of the reputation points. Our foxes are generating reputation insanely fast though. We have a bunch of fox houses because of the infinite crystallized dew that we are creating through berries. Of course, we have the pickled goods. And the other mistake I do, I'm really sorry, I haven't used consumption control really well. But I found in the previous settlements that I did that I turned off consumption control, I forgot about it. Or it's really difficult to calculate in your head how much... how many resolve points you are going to be losing because you turned off consumption control on certain items. And to be honest, it just really sucks. I really hate doing it. I don't find it fun. I kind of wish we could just let the villagers eat whatever they want, even at this prestige level. But absolutely, it would have been better to manage it better. But look at that. Lizards are leaving because of the consumption control. I have to unfavor foxes. It's just a giant mess. Lizards are so invaluable in this settlement. Almost all of our buildings that we will pick up have got a bonus for lizards. Foxes are helping us out a great deal. I spent way too long on creating these pipes and creating a green geyser pump, a drizzle geyser pump. I should have boosted the beanery as soon as I cut into the glade and I found that the green water geyser. We can create technically infinite pipes as well because of the crystallized dew. And look at that, clan hole or wrench. Both of these are awesome. Even if we cannot provide weapons for our fighting lizards, we would get double yields from gathering. But we are kind of a farmer settlement at this point. So we're just going to pick up a wrench. It's going to be really good either way. It's going to create us infinite meat, eggs, and leather. And because of the pump that is being constructed at this moment, we can also boost it. Almost every building, guys, will be boosted by water. This is actually a really insane water settlement, even though we don't have frogs. And like I said again, it would have been better to pick up counterfeit ember, but at that point you just can't know. Luckily for the eggs, we can just feed them berries from the farm, so it's really good. The plantation is also able to create plant fiber that can be used to create the other stuff at the ranch. We have a mission where we should upgrade the mine to level 2, and we get +1 to coal production. We basically double coal production. I should have done that much earlier because I wasted a bunch of coal because of that. But it is what it is. Once you get +1 to any production, it's not gonna automatically increase. Like these beavers, as you can see on your screen, are producing only 1 coal. So what you need to do is deassign the workers and then reassign them, because then they will start producing, you know, double. Expedition is not really useful. We get a bunch of nonsense stuff. I also really hate that every second expedition is the one that gives you the building blueprints. Even if the expeditions were more costly, I would prefer if you got some useful blueprints every single expedition. I'm also worried now that our hearth is gonna get corrupted. And yes, it's gonna get corrupted. The ghosts are running out to kill a bunch of villagers, 3 of them. This is gonna happen more, okay? I'm really sorry. It's just, we didn't have fuel, we didn't have enough workers. I didn't want to construct a second blight post because of acid rain, because we couldn't have gotten back the materials. Blight posts also cost bricks. And like I said, this isn't really a great settlement for bricks. It's really difficult to create bricks even with the clay delivery line. So, but I really should have created a second blight post for situations where I forgot about the corruption thing. We have 10 foxes again, getting closer to that 12 foxes order. Hopefully we're not gonna lose them this time. Cut into the Forbidden Glade and we find so much fertile soil. It's so good. We also found PTSD from the previous freaking episode. A drainage mole. Another drainage mole, dude. Oh my god. I just gotta start working on this immediately this time. I'm not gonna mess around. I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. At least this one. Zor comes and he offers us the clay pit, the most broken building in the entire game. We just found a bunch of fertile soil. We have infinite amounts of clearance water. Of course we're gonna pick up clay pit. Gonna make sure that we don't use that stone for the drainage mole, because that would be really sucky. However, the unfortunate thing, guys, is that well, the drainage mole is gonna give us 3 extra levels of hostility, but that's okay because I was intelligent this time. That's the other mistake I made the last video. I cut into that Forbidden Glade at the end of clearance season, which is the worst time you can cut into it. We cut into it just as the storm season was ending, so we can start working on this glade event immediately and not really suffer because of the extra 3 levels of hostility. As you can see, our hostility is level 5. If we started doing it in the storm season, everybody would have died because of Eerie Song, the Forest Mystery as well. The one thing I wanted to say, okay, is that we are in a really bad position, even though we found a bunch of fertile soil and we have the whatever ancient ritual for the double farm production. We don't have enough villagers, okay? We just do not have nearly enough villagers to work all this fertile soil, to build this like new hub up, okay? Just gonna pick up extra large baskets, extra production, or 50% production on the plantation, whatever, it doesn't matter. But 18 berries and 18 plant fiber is pretty insane, to be honest. 100% double from the cornerstone and 50% from the... we're gonna reroll, spend some 10 ember. Sucks, but it is what it is. To get leather worker. Not my favorite building. It's pretty useless, to be honest, but the only way we can create boots, so might as well do it. I also finally constructed the Forsaken altar. Neither did we have enough wood for a long time to create this building, or the bricks, right? And but it's really sucky, because if you look at the very bottom, we don't want to sacrifice villagers because that's gonna increase impatience. So what to do? And I decided to sacrifice 3 villagers to get 2 blueprint options from the smuggler, because I figure this is the only way we can live. The crown also wants to take 2 villagers with them because we don't have enough wood. Not looking good, guys. We're gonna get a bunch of impatience from just losing villagers. And I make the mistake of picking up Temple. Like I told you, Temple is so useless because hostility, if you look at the top, is already 0 because of the Forsaken altar. We don't need Temple to reduce hostility, but I figure we're gonna pick up Temple anyways because it can provide for both foxes and beavers. You know, scrolls and incense. The other building we're gonna pick up, I'm basically looking at buildings that can help us do these orders so we can get out of this game as quick as possible. We're gonna pick up a building that can create jerky. Now, the smokehouse is the best building for jerky. And it can also create incense for the religion order, okay? Not really sure what would have been a better option. I haven't even checked it out, but Guild House would have been maybe even better. Just getting a global resolve for trading. I don't know how much we traded. I did check the Witch Doctor in case you're wondering. That would increase global resolve for food. But it was just like +1 or something ridiculous, okay? The Witch Doctor wasn't good at this point. It would have been probably really good at the end of the game, but whatever, I picked up Temple. It was a mistake. And the other mistake I made was forgetting about creating incense. I kind of forgot about it at the end of the game, and like I told you at the very beginning of the video, it's gonna be really, 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 really close. So don't make the same mistakes I do. And apologies if you are frustrated because of my mistakes. Part of the reason I record the game first and then do the commentary is because it's easier on my attention span. But this is the first time I play on this really high prestige level, and I'm just like, I'm a stupid person, okay? I have really bad attention. Not much else to say. Stupid Blight Rod, I forget about it one more time, so losing so many villagers. I'm so stupid, man. I shouldn't say that, okay? Like, I'm sure a lot of people make mistakes in this game as well. And don't worry, I'm not gonna pick up anything at the Forsaken Altar, because look at that, we are like 95% at the impatience threshold, but there is a trick up our sleeve, okay? I'm gonna show you a really, really, really important trick that you can do when you are losing. Just gonna spend 50 gold willy-nilly like that, but look at that, we get 400 Hearth resistance, which is exactly what we need. Stupid corruption, man. Finally, we can complete the very first order we picked up in this game too. The other thing I didn't tell you, I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait with fishing until we completed this order, because we would have gotten +1 to packs of crop production. The issue is we had 0 ways to create packs of crops. We had no mushrooms. We didn't have the small farm at that point. So, and I was losing. So we fished up all of those large fishing camps. It was so important that so good that I took the large fishing hut with us. I would recommend to you to always take the large fishing hut. And this is why I forgot about the incense, because I started making resin through the clay pit. I didn't want to waste these scales that otherwise could be used to create boots. So I kind of forgot about creating the incense, and it almost cost us the entire game. Luckily, we got a bunch of coal from the upgraded mine, so we can just use that to create fire for the blight. I really want to pay that 93 wood for the crown, okay, but I even created this is what I created a second woodcutter camp, but guess what, we're gonna be like 5 or 10 wood short, so we're gonna lose even more villagers. Yeah, 11 wood short. That really sucks. I have to own up to my mistakes. It is what it is. The reason I don't have workers assigned at the blight post at this point is because I pre-constructed a bunch of fuel anyways. But what I should have done, and I always forget to upgrade the blight post. I always forget that you can do that. And also, even though I didn't forget, I didn't have building materials. You need building materials to upgrade the blight post, so it's kind of sucky. And there are some issues with the blight post upgrades, because the robots that you get they don't construct the fuel. They only go out and fight the fire, okay? But there is like a bug in the game. You've probably seen it on the forums, that the way it works is you get those 2 automatized robots for the blight post that go out to fight the fire. Well, when you have villagers assigned at the blight post as well, the robots will take the fuel with them to fight the fire. Or sorry, the villager will take the fuel with them to fight the fire, and the robots will just stand there doing nothing. So it's programmed backwards, where even though it should be like the villagers are, you know, creating the fire and the robots go out and fight it, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And like that, we're gonna lose even more freaking villagers. Oh no. No, boy, no. We lose the Hearth Keeper, man. Another clay delivery line. And the kind of the mistake I make is I shouldn't really have handed in these orders so fast. Okay? kind of wanted the building because I will show you later what I should have done. Because we only have 2 orders left and we are still kind of losing the game. 90 whatever% impatience. And guess what? Okay, let me tell you what's happening. We are losing. The only way to stop that is to hand in this order, okay? It's not gonna be through villager resolve because we are too far away from the next resolve point. We need 4 extra packs of luxury goods. Luckily, we have buildings that can create packs of luxury goods, like this carpenter. And I told them to create luxury goods. However, the mistake that I made, I didn't see this, but the packs of luxury goods, the limit, I left it, I forgot it at 10. And I'm like, why are you guys not creating luxury goods? Why are you not creating luxury goods, man? We are starting to lose the game. We have 1 minute and 10 seconds to do it. And then I realized, oh shit, the limit is wrong. Set it to freaking 30. They're gonna... Luckily, this is, for whatever reason, creating them is really fast. We also boosted the building. The beavers are taking their sweet time with taking the luxury goods back to the thing. I have to manually tell them. I almost lost the game because of just that. I forgot to tell them to take it back automatically because this is another reason this Citadel upgrade sometimes lose you the game. We have an extra 10 building capacity and this almost lost us the game because they didn't take the items back to the warehouse, right? Well, luckily this beaver is really hurrying to take it back, and look at that. This is the tip I wanted to share with you guys. When you are in overtime or whatever is last stand it's called, you are in last stand. If you reduce the impatience anyway, it's gonna go back, and this actually resets the last stand time. Very important. You can technically get to last stand, have like 10 or 9 orders lined up, and you can reduce it back 9 times, and it's gonna reset the last stand time every time, right? That's what I should have done previously. And look at that, we need one more, just one more reputation point, but our foxes have increased reputation so much this game that their resolve threshold is completely busted. It's completely at the end of this circle up here. The lizards are also pretty busted. We only have to rely on the beavers, but the beavers just also increased reputation. Their resolve threshold increased, and I'm so miffed. We basically need to put all of our resources into the beavers, just reconstruct a bunch of beaver houses, field kitchen, throw down a field kitchen so it can create biscuits for the beavers. I don't even care. And unfortunately, we're getting into the storm season. And I'm just looking at ways to not lose more villagers. The fucking blight rot. I cannot decrease the blight rot burn time because I didn't construct packs of freaking building materials. I should have constructed them. I should have done a bunch of stuff, okay, differently. The temple is not gonna help us. However, there is one thing that will help us. Now we get into overtime. One of the reasons is because the harp is gonna get corrupted again. I created this second blight rot post, blight post, whatever, too late. So we are in overtime. We have 1 minute to win the game. We cannot complete the final order because I also forgot about incense. The only way we can win at this point is to rely on the beavers to win faster than we can lose. Look at that. We are like 98% there, but we're also like 98% about to lose. So very important, guys. I'm gonna gather all the beavers from the settlement. I'm gonna put them on production buildings, and I'm gonna boost those production buildings with water so their resolve will increase, because maybe it's gonna be like 1 or 2 seconds, okay? We're gonna increase the resolve of the beavers just by a little tiny bit. Maybe that's all it's gonna take to win or not lose, okay? It's 0.33 per minute. It's 0.34 now. Technically a mistake. I am going to accept these villagers because there's some beavers there, and more beavers equals more resolve generation, 3 extra beavers. But technically, the new beavers didn't eat or use any of the stuff, so the resolve just went from 41 to 36, right? In this short amount of time, I should not have accepted newcomers. That was a mistake. We have 1 minute left on the clock. Right here, look. Right there. 50 seconds. Come on, beavers. Beavers are at 43. Maybe it was good to accept them. I don't know. Because they kind of reached the resolve limit kind of fast. 40 seconds. Thank God. I was so done. I just recorded this just before recording this voice commentary. High price. Guess what? Another settlement where we don't get the Bone Tools achievement done, where 20 villagers have to die. I'm never gonna get that stupid achievement done in my life. I swear to God. 15 villagers died. Prestige 18 or higher. This might be a secret achievement, actually. I'm not sure. We're gonna continue this. I'm gonna show you how much food we got from cannibalism, how much hostility reduction we got from the altar. Okay? So cannibalism gave us 920 meat. We ate all of those villagers. Yeah, look at that. Alarm bells. Like, alarm bells at this point, we have 180 corruption. It's not even that much. And it's a 75% increase double yields. I'm not even really sure what happens when you get like 200% double yields, if anything happens at all. Let me know in the comment section below. Altar of Decay gave us minus 460 hostility. Look at the top there. We have actually 0 hostility. The temple gave us like 75 minus hostility. I was sacrificing coal for like willy-nilly in the hearth just so we could decrease it even further, but it didn't really matter. Look at that. Accumulated dew. Berry production gave us 216 crystallized dew. Another way we could have won is opening up a bunch of caches. This is the entire settlement. It looks really cool, to be honest. This is one of my favorite songs as well. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Against the Storm content. Like the video if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section below the worst mistake you've done maybe recently in this game. Maybe you'd like to check out this video next. Check out this one right here.